Hello, welcome to the Out of Vomit Podcast, an extension of the Vomit series of podcasts. As always, I'm your host, Mac Taylor, and today we're going to be talking some Challenge All-Stars, Episode 1. Guys, it's here. I will admit, I'll throw it on the line here. I'm pretty late to the challenge party, okay? I avoided it because I thought it was too trashy for me, I guess, But, and definitely at the time, like when I was a teenager, I would have, shat all over the show had I watched it anyway, really. But having viewed it now, I started last year because when CBS All Access, well, formerly now it's Paramount Plus, had acquired most of the seasons of the challenge, I was like, take a note. I'm going to watch that sometime. And due to the pandemic and having some time off work, I decided that, fuck it. Like, I'll watch, I'll start with the first season they had on there, which was season 11, The Gauntlet 2, which is the first season that TJ hosts. I was like, whatever. Like, I'll give it a shot. And if I don't like it, hey, I tried it. And if it's something I like, I'll move on and see how long I can go along before I really, just fall out of it. And I loved it. I loved it. There was drama. There was eliminations. There was a lot of, physical stuff. It was fun to watch. And it's not a long, Big Brother, as much as I love Big Brother, can be very long. 3 episodes a week, 3 months. Live feeds on top of it. There's a lot to digest, right? So sometimes it's nice just to binge. Like Survivor and the Challenge are good on a binge because there's not a lot of episodes and you knock it out in a day if you really wanted to, right? So I watched The Gauntlet 2, loved it, then moved on to Fresh Meat, and I loved that even more. Then The Duel, and I loved that even more. And by then I was like, fuck it, I'm watching them all. I don't care if I even dislike a season, which Gauntlet 3 I did. But I was like, whatever, I'm going to keep going and, just see what happens. And I watched up until season 26. That's when I just started to start the Reality Vomit podcast and just go back and cover all the stuff in the past. I worked my way through because I just wanted to talk about it. Like, I was watching all these things and I just wanted to discuss them. Even though they happened a decade ago. But Challenge All-Stars, I had heard about it around the time I started watching the show. That Mark Long, a person that, had been very prevalent on both Road Rules and the Challenge over the years, pitched an idea to get a bunch of old school players in a shortened season so that we could see a lot of the people that brought us to the game back, right? And that first of all, that's a great idea. It's a great pitch. Big Brother, we've been pushing for that for years to have a shortened bit, like a Big Brother celebrity length season, to bring back the Danielle Reyes people, the Jason Roy people, that the people that have families and it's hard for them to step away. Give them a shortened season. Let them come back. Let them do that. So really, the challenge. Bravo, you're ahead of the game. Coming to this, And right off of Winners at War and Big Brother All-Stars, we've had a lot of returning player seasons to various effects. And but this one seems very promising because there was a lot of the best part about Winners at War to me was seeing people on it that I hadn't seen since their early seasons, like Ethan Zahn, and Amber, and I really didn't ever care for it, but Danny Boatwright it was interesting to see her. About Yul Kwan, there were people that you hadn't seen in a long time that it was nice to touch base with them again, right? So here we are, 22 Challenge All-Stars from various old school seasons, and I'm gonna go through the cast and talk about my if I had watched any of their seasons when I was binging it over the quarantine, and, or if I had heard of them, or, what I know about them. So we start out with Laterrian. I know he was in the original Gauntlet, which I have not seen. All of his stuff I have not seen, but I think he had done a challenge or two. And was a big physical beast, but he was smoked by Alton in a climbing competition. But you shouldn't really hold any, like, embarrassment for that. Alton is a beast, especially at that time. Like, in the early challenge days, Alton was unstoppable. So, like, you shouldn't be sad that you lost to Alton, So, Letarian's back. We, of course, got Mark Long, the guy who pitched the series. I saw him in the Gauntlet 2, where he announced his retirement early, only to come back some time later for the Duel 2 and for Battle of the Exes with Robin, who I was surprised did not come back for this season. But they did say that if this season does well, that there will be more. So maybe we'll see Robin in the future. I did like Robin. So we got Mark back, and that was like a no-brainer. We got Alton, speaking of Letarian. I saw Alton on the Gauntlet 2, the Inferno 3, and Battle of the Seasons 2012, the second Battle of the Seasons. And the last time he played, his heart was not in it. Like in Battle of the Seasons 2012, he was burnt out. I don't think he really gave a shit. I know he's from real world Las Vegas, but I have not seen most of these people's, like, I've only seen once the original season of the real world, so I haven't seen the real world seasons. And I can't find anywhere to really watch Road Rules. I would watch it, but I really don't have a way to watch it. But so I have not seen, like, where they came from. I only know them from the challenge. So let's make that clear now. Because when Mark Long was on the original Road Rules season, wasn't that like 96? Like, I think Road Rules came out before I was born. So it's not possible for me to have watched that. And then Alton's Real World season came out when I was a child. I wasn't going to be watching the Real World as a child. It's not really appealing to like a 3 or 4-year-old. Nevertheless, Alton's back. Like I said, he was a beast, especially in the Gauntlet 2, which was the first season I watched. Like, Alton was a unstoppable force. So I was like really excited to see him come back, and the 2 times that he did, and he really wasn't as much of a force as he was that last time. Then we got Ace, who is from, I don't know the Real World seasons, but I saw him in the Gauntlet 2, and the Inferno 3. And I know they joked because his first 2 challenge seasons, he was like the first one out, and then the second one out, and then in the Gauntlet 2, he made it like midway, and then in Inferno 3, he was on the runner-up team, but he at least made finals day. So, Ace had like a big, like, it was roller coaster kind of thing in the challenge. So it was nice to see him come back, and it's been a long time. The Inferno 3 was a long time ago. So, good for him coming back here. Then we have Anissa, who is a challenge icon. I've seen her. I can't even name all of her seasons, right? Because I haven't seen all of them. Because I'm not up to date on challenges. But I watched. She was in the Gauntlet 2. She was in the Duel. She was in, I believe, the Duel 2. She was in think she might have been in the Ruins. I'm not entirely certain on that. I know she was in Rivals. I know she was. She's been in so many seasons, guys. Anissa is a mainstay of the challenge franchise. And it's good to see her here. And I think she was just on the season 36 of the challenge, Double Agents. But hey, yeah, she's an OG. Then we have Derek, who is one of my personal favorite people to play the challenge. I saw him. He's from Road Rules. Road Rules Extreme, I believe, was his Road Rules season. But I saw him on the Gauntlet 2, on Fresh Meat, on the Duel, on the Inferno 3, as a replacement for CT. We saw him on the Island. We saw him in the Ruins. And then I believe he would skip a few after that, come back for Cutthroat. I know he was in Cutthroat. And I believe he did. He kind of spaced it out because he got married and had a kid, so it kind of was harder for him to come back. But Derek was someone like, especially in the Gauntlet 2, it was a great season to get introduced to Derek for me because he comes in, he's kind of like this excitable, very emotional guy, but he's good at challenges. He's a beast. He proves himself in the Gauntlet 2, has to win his way, and falls just short. He almost makes the final, but doesn't be able to. Then he goes to Fresh Meat, and the same thing happens. He beasts out. Him and Diem are a great team, and then boom, right before the finals, they get cut. Then he goes on to the Duel, makes it a good way through the game, and gets, has that, that pole wrestle. It's iconic. It's one of the most iconic eliminations in challenge history where him and Wes annihilate each other. And, Derek was a fucking champion. And then finally he wins in the Inferno 3, and he wins in the Island. And he makes it, in all the other seasons, he makes it very far. Derek is a guy who's gonna go far because he can win eliminations. And B, he's a very good social player. He knows when gone are the days of Gauntlet 2 Derek kicking in the table. Like, he knows when he needs to step up and say something, and he knows when he needs to lay low and let somebody else do the dirty work. So, I will announce I have a male and a female pick, just like everything else I do. Derek will be my male pick. So keep your eyes out. Derek is my boy heading into this season, and I think that's a pretty safe bet. Next is John A., who I am a big fan of. One, she's gorgeous, and second, she always had. She was never that great at comps, but she tried her damnedest, and she was always entertaining. And it was fun. I binged the hell out of these. So they all kind of start to blend together. But she did quite a few seasons. And I was never really rooting for her, but I always wanted to see her do well. And next is Katie Doyle, the icon. Katie Doyle. I love her so very much. She is great television. She gets fired up. And she's a firecracker, and she tries her hardest at stuff. Katie, I saw her in the Gauntlet 2. I believe Fresh Meat. I believe she was in the Duel or the Gauntlet 3. So Gauntlet 2 and 3, I think. Not entirely certain on that. She might have not been in that season. She did a shit ton of seasons. She was in the Ruins. She was in Cutthroat, which was her last appearance. Like you would see Katie quite a bit, and they show the thing of her like when they put the toilet plunger in her bed. I mean, she's just like smashing like the bed in front of Kenny and Evan. That was interesting. And also surprised not to see Kenny or Evan back on the show. I know they had that the controversy with Tanya, but that nothing was ever really stated about that. So nevertheless, Katie's here. Then we have Kelly Ann, who I know she was on the Ruins. I vaguely remember her. I think she went to the final with Sarah, if I'm not mistaken. She was a beast, if I remember her correctly. Then we have Ruthie. I loved Ruthie, but I didn't get to see a lot of her because a lot of her challenge seasons were before the Gauntlet 2, so I didn't see them. But I did see her in the Gauntlet 2 where she tried her hardest and was taken out by Beth. But she was always well-liked. And then she would go again in believe, the Duel 2 was Ruthie's last season. And I felt like she was really a non-entity there. So I look forward to seeing her maybe do something. She's got a great haircut now. I'm rooting for Ruthie as well. And then also we have Cyrus, who I saw in the Gauntlet 2 and the Ruins. He's an old school challenge guy. I haven't seen a lot of his challenges, but he's like a massive guy. He built like a brick shit house, and he looks the same as he did all those years ago. And I look forward to seeing what he does here. We also have Jisela, who I only saw in the Gauntlet 2, where she pretty much quit because she said that Ruthie had a better chance than she did, so she kind of just threw it. And, TJ was like, Jisela, I'm so disappointed. I'm very surprised they brought her back because of that. But it's been a number of years, and I liked what I saw from her. And again, this surprises the hell out of me, but I am announcing it. Jisela is my female pick. Jisela is going to be my girl heading forward in this. Because now she's a mom. She is a thickum now. Like, she's thick with 2 C's and a Q. That girl looks hotter now than she did when she played the first time. Like, she looks gorgeous. So I'm very excited to see her in the season. Seems like she come to play. She's all business, and I'm ready to see her do that business. Then we also have Tech, whose only challenge appearance was the Challenge 2000, which is the 3rd season I have not seen. Tech is the kind of guy that this show is, structured around, getting back people we haven't seen. We haven't seen Tech on the Challenge in 2 decades. So it's great to see him here. I'm very curious to see what he does. Then we have Arissa, another person who I have no previous experience with. Didn't get a lot of her in the episode, but, let's see how she goes. Then we have Beth, the OG challenge villainess. Beth, who, oh boy, Beth. I saw her on the Gauntlet 2 where she was just shit-talking. She had it out against Montana. Took her out, took all these people out, and then gets taken out herself, but basically quits with Denisa. But they bring her back for the duel, and she gets, I believe it was Tina, to punch her in the face, and goes on to get eliminated by Svetlana. Wow, that really, who only had a one-time appearance on the challenge, a one-and-doneer. Then she would come back for the Gauntlet 3, which was her last appearance, where she had that... Well, in the duel, she had that flirtiness with Nehemiah, who threw her under the bus in the Gauntlet 3. And also, she gets taken out fairly early by Coral because they didn't want Beth or Coral on the team because they felt their women were inferior. But, Coral, come on now. She is... Also, I'm very surprised Coral isn't on this season, but hopefully she'll come back for season 2. Coral is one of my favorite challenge competitors of all time. She is a queen, and, was sad to see her not here. Then we have Big Easy, Eric Banks, who I saw a lot of him because his first season was Fresh Meat. Then he did the duel, Gauntlet 3. Then after the Gauntlet 3, he took a break for a while. Then he would come back for Cutthroat and Battle of the Seasons. 2012. I like Big Easy. He's not good at challenges unless they involve physicality. But he was a great character. Seemed like a real laid-back guy. Got done dirty in the Gauntlet 3. And then again, his last appearance did not make him look so great. He kind of just threw in the towel. But, let's see what this version of Big Easy looks like. We don't get a lot in the episode, but, I'm curious. Then we have Darrell, who was just in the last season of the challenge, the Double Agents. But Darrell is kind of like even more than Mark Long. He's like a beast. He's like a 4-time challenge champion. I saw him in Fresh Meat. And then he wouldn't be back for a while. He took a little break after Fresh Meat, and would come back for the Ruins, where he did extremely well and ended up getting out of a fight with Brad. But yeah, Darrell's kind of like, and he has the attitude of a guy who wins a lot too. He's a little cocky, but like he backs it up. I'm curious. I think he'll do well. Then we have Jemmy, who I believe her first season was Battle of the Seasons. She had that relationship with Knight, the late Knight, who passed away. And the times that she played, and she admits this in the episode that she was a party girl, but she's a little more serious this time, and we'll talk about it in the episode. I know it's taken us 20 minutes to talk about the episode at all, but there's a lot of backstory to cover here. But like, I was impressed with Jemmy. She was never someone I enjoyed. And when I cover those seasons, I'll still be brutally honest about it. But hell, Jemmy could be a contender. Then we have Kendall, who I know nothing about. Then we have Nehemiah, who I saw. He was from Wes's Real World season. We saw him in The Duel, where he was taken out by Big Easy, fairly about the middle. In the Gauntlet 3, which he was on the winning team of, and really led that team in the Gauntlet 3. And then he would come back for Duel 2, where he did pretty well, and Rivals, where Evan, who was a beast at the time, kind of bitched out, and Nehemiah had to kind of carry him through. Nehemiah, it was the last time we saw him, and I was glad he's getting another shot here. We'll see what he's capable of. I think he'll be more of a presence this time around. And then Trishelle, who I only really saw twice, and the last time it was Battle of Seasons Rivals, where she quit, and I was very disappointed in her. And even she said I'm 50% beast, 50% quitter, and let's hope she don't quit. Which we'll talk about. There's a quitting scene, and I have some theories on who it may or may not be, but maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe I won't for time reasons. Maybe we'll talk about that on episode 2 when I narrow it down a little more. And then finally we have Yes Duffy, who only competed on the first couple of challenges in the 90s. And I don't know much about him, but he's got an interesting name, and he a lot of these guys who played those early seasons are coming in at a disadvantage because I don't think they really know how tough this is gonna get. So all right, let's go ahead, let's get into the episode. We start off, Katie comes out, talks about her story. She's an icon. Mark, he's ready to do this thing. Alton is a badass and kind of had a weak showing last time. He's trying to get past that. And Jisela, she slips off the bus, and we have a laugh about it. But she's like, I got a lot to prove from the Gauntlet 2, and I'm in mommy mode. I'm here to play. I'm here to win, and I'm here to look good doing it. And girl, I hope you do all of them. You is fire. Cyrus is cocky as ever, but that's how I like Cyrus. That's how I like Darrell. Like, come in, be cocky, do your thing. You're probably gonna win some eliminations, and you may or may not win in the end. But hey, like it's consistent. Like I know what I'm getting from Cyrus, and I know what I'm getting from Darrell, and I like that though. Trishelle has the line of the 50-50, and that wasn't great, but amazing set design. From the house to the deliberation area outside, this is all just really nice. Like, they went all out to really pay tribute to these veterans of the game. So, bravo to Buttermurray Productions and whoever funded this thing for, they got the nameplates on the wall, the helmets, the quotes, the nice, like, log cabiny house. This is some fire shit right here. Especially the people that played those early seasons. They're probably like, dude, this house is amazing. And this time they will be playing for $500,000, which is I believe the most challenge season has ever been for. And Jemmy talks about, look, last time I cared about getting drunk, having fun. This, that part of my life is over. This is business. And it's like, yes, girl, get it. And most of the old school players, a lot of their challenges were very simple in the day. Things are much more physical now. It's much harder. And they're really going to get, with this first challenge, they're going to get, no pun intended, but thrown into the cold water. It's going to be a shock to, this is a tough game. You're not just going to get handed 500K easy. And Beth knows her rep may hinder her in this game, but she also still calls Nehemiah her tenderoni. And poor Nehemiah, he's like, look, that's like, of all the things I've done in the challenge, that's the thing I get talked to about the most, and I want to change that. And I'm like, yes, I agree, because yes, that was the duel. But that was your first outing. Like, I think the Nehemiah of the Gauntlet 3 and of Rivals is much, and even Duel 2 is much more interesting than the Nehemiah in the Duel. Nehemiah in the Duel didn't do much of anything. He wasn't really much of an entity. He really came into his own in those next few seasons. And Yes is glad to see the average age range is older, because he was worried he was going to be like the old guy in the group. And Ace says things are going to get dirty, because in the early challenges, people were killing each other for scooters and watches. Like this is $500,000. We're gonna see the animals come out of people, and just remember that Ace said that. Come later. Laterian, very cocky, even though, his last challenge was the god. But again, Laterian's still a big dude. If he gets any physical challenge, he's gonna nail it. So, I understand, especially because he hangs around with Cyrus all the time, who tries to, pump him up a little bit. And Nehemiah, though, warns Laterian, this game is more politics now. Like, you need to know how to interact with people. And he's like, well, I never thought about it. He's like, well, you need to start thinking. And he's like, I know, Nehemiah. It's like, well, okay, well, take that. Nehemiah's doing you a solid, dude. Because even guys like Cyrus aren't super keen on that. That their challenges, by the time the social things were brought into the challenge, guys like Cyrus already had relationships with people. But these new players had to come in and figure this out. Learn from Nehemiah. So we get the first challenge where you have to solve this math problem, dive out and get the answer. It's like this really cold, deep water to get these heavy-ass pieces and bring them back and put them in sequence of the equation. So this ain't easy to do. They're not taking it easy on these almost 50-year-old people. So they're divided in the bronze and silver teams. Bronze is Laterian, Mark, Alton, Ace, Anissa, Derek, John A., Katie, Cyrus, Ruthie, and Kellyanne, with the captains being Laterian and Kellyanne. Now, the captains, the losing team, one will get sent into the elimination, depending on if it's male or female. And the other really won't have much to happen to them at all, except for losing. And then the winning team, the gender elimination will be safe, and the other one will gain a power. So, captains can hurt or hinder you. So Laterian and Kellyanne stepping up. Then on the silver team, we have captains Jisela and Tech. Jisela stepped up. She's like, I have a plan. I think I can do this. I know y'all are scared to put your neck out first. I'm here to play. I'm here to do that. And I'm like, that's bold, but you do it. And Tech's like, fuck it, I'll be a captain too. I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, well, Tech, maybe you should give a little bit of a fuck, because if it's a physical thing, you're a real small dude. But nevertheless, boldness. But they also have Arissa, Beth, Big Easy, Darrell, Jemmy, Kendall, Nehemiah, Trishelle, and Yes. And Yes is pretty good at math. So that's where his strong suit he feels is going to come into this challenge, because he can solve the equation. Beth already, just right off the bat, just can't do this. But takes the longest time, backstroking back, and almost just goes the other way. And they're like, Beth, we're over here. Classic Beth. Beth giving me what I want. I need to see her get a little more shady before she goes home. But as far as what I expect from Beth, I expect her to be really mean to people and be really bad at challenges. So she's delivering half of what I want from her already. Darrell brings back the wrong color. So Silver's hurting right off the bat, and they already are at a little bit of a disadvantage because Bronze has a lot more of the athletic dudes with like Derek, Latarian, Mark, Alton, Ace. They got Ruthie and Cyrus. Like, they got a lot of people on there, right? Trishelle fails. John A fails. Tech fails. Arissa fails bad. Like, she cramps. And, like, I thought she might have died for a second. But Jisela goes, get out my way. I got this. And her ass heads out there in that water, gets that thing, and brings it back. I'm like, yes! You stepped up to the plate. You're going to knock it out of the park, girl. And you look damn fine doing it. Applause all around. Then Ruthie fails. And then Tech has a great line where he goes, welcome to the challenge, senior edition. We got a lot of people that are dropping out of this, including myself. So great stuff from Tech. Tech's delivering in the comedy section where he should. And yes, then beasts out and gets a brick for Silver. So yes, not only solving these math equations, not only is he one of the older castmates, but he's like, get out my way. I got this. Hell yeah. Big Easy gets a brick, but then still like goes for a lifeguard, which makes him look worse than just if he didn't make it all the way out there. Ace also fails. Cyrus fails. Then Jemmy comes out there and Jemmy grabs one and gets it done. So I'm like, Jemmy, you look great. The people who I came in thinking may or may not be so great at this are doing pretty damn good at it. And obviously Mark's doing good. Alton's doing good. Nehemiah's coming through like a champion. But again, some people I wouldn't expect, like a Jemmy, Jisela, and yes, they're doing it. LT fails pretty badly. Silver comes from behind. And Jisela even goes through and gets another one. Yes gets like 3 or 4 of them. So Silver wins. And Yes and Jisela are the MVPs. And Jisela not only is the MVP, but she's the goddamn captain. So bravo to Jisela. Because again, I came in only seeing her in Gauntlet 2. So I had a very low... I didn't think very much of her. I thought she was a quitter. And she came in here and just smacked me in the face and said, look at me. And I am. Looking real good. And so it's a men's elimination. So Tech, glad he won't be seeing elimination. And Jisela gets a lifesaver. So at any point, she can save somebody from the elimination round. That's huge. So LT's going to elimination. And he's a scary one to face because he's such a big dude. If it's physical, you're going to get psyched out. So Tech then starts dancing. Because again, Tech, he's not a physically fit dude. He's brought in here for his personality. And he's very funny and very entertaining. So Cyrus and crew, they want to feed Ace to LT. And everyone kind of falls in suit because LT wanted Ace. And so everybody votes him in, and he's pissed. He's like, y'all are monsters. Like, but it's like, Ace, just because you're the hero of your own story doesn't mean you're the hero of this one. I like Ace, but, like, there's nothing. It's not like he was really pulling through in that challenge to say, like, they shouldn't have thrown him in. Like, you have to go off of, like, and LT's like, he's the person I talk to the least, and I think I could beat him. And that's a very sound reason to bring him in. I was sad to see him brought into that spot because I like Ace. But at the end of the day, like, it makes a lot of sense. So I didn't really understand why he took it so personally. But they lighten the mood. We have a 90s party. Everyone's dancing. Gisela's out there shaking everything. It's good stuff. Anissa's got the overalls looking fly. Big Easy's got the colorful hat, the big glasses. Good stuff. All good stuff. Everybody partying. Everybody feeling good. Next morning... Jisela feels that hangover. Like, she gets all the airtime in this episode, which, you know what, she deserves it. And Cyrus is pumping LT up. Like, don't psych yourself out. Just get in there, get it done. You got this. So it's a pole wrestle. And, yeah, I think Ace got psyched out because LT just dominates him. The first round is so fast, and then the second one, he just plungers Ace and just knocks the hell out of him. So Ace is eliminated. LT, stays in the game. The first OG to bite the bullet. Because when asked if she wanted to use the lightsaber, Jisela's like, hey, in the Gauntlet 2, Ace talked about how useless I was and how it was great that I was gone. I don't forget that. And I'm like, yes, Queen. Yes. She remembers that shit. I think we're going to see a lot of that this season. I think we're going to see a lot of, past beef that, could have easily been swept under the rug, but it's an easy reason to use it in this game to advance. So, I can't wait. All the flashbacks are going to be had. It's going to be good stuff. So that ends today's coverage on the Challenge All-Stars episode 1. Let me know in the comments what you think down below. I think we're in for a great season. I'm excited as hell. Jisela coming in strong. Jemmye coming in strong. Yes, coming in strong. This is going to be fun. I'm so pumped. So pumped. And I cannot wait to be covering the season with you guys. So until next time, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, stay safe, most importantly, guys, stay nerdy.